inside.
Is it? It's bigger on the inside.
It's bigger on the inside.
It was bigger on the inside.
What's bigger on the inside?
It's bigger on the inside.
The inside's bigger than the outside.
Bigger on the inside?
Welcome everybody to the BOTI podcast. We are back again. My name is Tyler Hoskin, and with me I've got Ian Button.
Yellow.
And another review. This week we are going to do Under the Lake. Very creepy episode. As I believe we mentioned last week. The trailer looked fairly creepy.
And it was funny that my prediction was that
pretty much bang on.
The twist
was
they actually turned it to be ghosts, and they did. Although it seems like there's more to it.
Yeah, they're ghosts right now.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we don't because at the end of the episode, the Doctor kind of disappears and runs off to the past before the flood happened.
Yeah, there's something going on with them, obviously, because of the writing in the eye and the fact that they can only physically grab metal objects and stuff like that. So there's more to be revealed in episode 2 for sure.
Again, glad it's a two-parter. So hopefully the second part is going to. I didn't know this was going to be a two-parter.
I didn't know either.
I had no idea. It was
staying away from spoilers and everything.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. It's awesome.
Oh, it's way better format. I mean, the episodes have so much more room to breathe.
Yeah.
More time to build the suspense and to tell a more complete story.
Yeah,
rather
for sure.
Than just intro, run down some corridors, wrap it up. The end.
And I mean, I still love the running around corridors because that was cool in this episode.
Oh yeah, no, that was a fantastic chase scene.
Yeah, the chase scene was pretty epic, and just because like how they were all working together, it was.
Yeah.
And all right, your turn. Go. Just don't let them see where you go.
Yeah.
This
was
very,
a
very
well
cool.
written and directed episode. This to me felt much more like a classic Who episode because it took the kind of the base under siege format, which we've seen countless times before, but put a new spin on it.
It was a great spin.
This episode in general kind of reminded me of the David Tennant two-parter, The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit.
Yep.
Because it's the same kind of format. It's a base, one's underwater, one's in space near a black hole. You've got these supernatural forces, and at the very beginning, at the beginning of that episode as well, the TARDIS lands, and it's weird, not right? And they kind of joke about should we leave, and then they just laugh.
Yeah, and then they walk in, they find again like a lunchroom.
Yeah.
Again, another thing from those ones is something that the Doctor couldn't read because the TARDIS wasn't translating it. They also found that.
Yeah, good call. A lot of parallels with The Impossible Planet in this episode.
Interesting. I wonder how many more are going to be in the second part.
I think judging from the next week trailer, we're going to get a lot more jumping around. I don't know. It seems like part 2, because this was part 1 was a kind of a basic episode.
Yeah.
Here's the characters, here's the situation. But it was mostly kind of like, aside from the chase stuff, it was mostly a lot of just well-written dialogue. But it seems with part 2, it'll feel more like a Moffat episode with a lot of time jumping and stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, too, to see... it's not very often that the Doctor actually goes back in time to the beginning of something that he's involved with to figure it out, right? Like
that's true, because it's always one of those. Once he lands there, he's become a part of the events.
Yeah.
So we don't often see him leave to say, "Okay, well, I really can't figure this out. I need to go back."
Yeah, and then again, we're jumping back and forth around this episode like crazy, but like right at the end of the episode, we see the Doctor in the water, floating towards the crew.
He's a ghost.
And he's a ghost. And you're just going, what? What the fuck?
Because it doesn't make sense, because how could he turn into a ghost if he dies? How does he then not regenerate?
Right.
So that leads me to think they're not
They're not dead.
100% ghosts. There's
Yeah.
there's something else, and it's all going to figure into this alien or whatever it is that is in the coffin in the church.
Yes.
That the Doctor's gone back in time to discover what is this.
Right.
Is this thing?
Yeah, because there's a lot of questions. Like, again, like you said, there's they can pick up metal objects.
The one funny thing, though, that Mark pointed out was, okay, so the one ghost picks up a chair, knock the chair out of his hands.
Yeah. Why are you guys scared? It's just a chair.
Exactly. Like, okay, if he's got knives or the harpoon gun or something like that, okay, run away from that. But a wrench, a chair, you can't fight back against that, really. Also, going back to the point that when the one ghost does pick up the wrench and is about to kill the guy and then doesn't, obviously that's because he didn't go into the spaceship and see the writing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, what's her name? The deaf girl. Cass. So, she wouldn't let him in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's intriguing to me. Like, why aren't you letting him go in?
But everybody else
can go in.
But again, you're still left with a lot of questions.
A lot of questions, yeah.
And I'm glad that part 2 is going to be more of a time jumpy one. So it's not more like the Satan Pit, where it's just them continuing to fight the ghosts at the base at that same time.
Yeah.
So we're going to get a whole new spin on it with the Doctor going back, dealing with this alien, and bringing the other two people along, and how what he's doing back then is going to affect what's happening in the future with them at the base underwater.
Very, very. He's obviously got to be careful of what he does too, I guess.
Yeah,
because he doesn't want to disturb too much of it. It's all timey-wimey. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's weird for this writer, Toby Whithouse. I mean, he's a good writer for the show. He's a hit and miss writer, because I mean, when I was reading the episode titles and the writers and stuff like that, this, not to say I wasn't looking forward to it, but out of all the episodes, I mean, we've got the Zygon 2-parter coming up, and Maisie Williams coming on. There were a lot of big things happening later down the road. So this one I was kind of looking at, I was like, okay, this will be a fun kind of like throwaway episode. But writing and performance wise, this was better in different ways than last week's, because last week's was a very big, grand, epic scale type episode, whereas this was more like classic Who, very small, very confined, much more character driven. The dialogue, like I thought this was probably Capaldi's one of his best performances as the Doctor.
Yeah,
he's really firing on all cylinders now. You can tell he's like really, really comfortable in the role now.
Yeah,
and especially it really showed in that scene when he actually it does click in that these are actually ghosts, and he gets like so excited and just starts going off and ranting and raving, and then Clara has to kind of hold him back and say, "Don't bring your cards out."
That was an awesome scene. Bring your cards out.
Yeah, because Toby Whithouse, he's written some good ones. He wrote School Reunion, which was awesome.
Right.
Back in season 2, and he wrote The God Complex in season 6, which I really enjoyed. But then on the flip side, he also wrote Vampires of Venice, which I didn't really care for.
Yeah, that wasn't a great one.
Also in season 6, he wrote A Town Called Mercy.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, that was okay.
It
wasn't the greatest, but
it wasn't great. His plots, aside from maybe the God Complex, are extremely basic. So it was nice to see him kind of expanding what he can do, and given a 2-parter as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Aside from Capaldi's performance, I thought this was a good episode for the supporting characters as well. Again, you mentioned Cass, who I believe is the first deaf actress to be cast.
Is she actually deaf then?
Yep, yeah, she is.
Okay.
Yep, she definitely is, and I thought she was awesome.
She was brilliant, yeah, for sure. So
that was really good. She's kind of one of those supporting characters you kind of hope you see again down the line, but
you never know.
And Clara as well. Something's up with Clara.
Yes.
She's being a little too. I mean, you could write it off as, she misses Danny. She just wants to run away and get away from it all. But I think something else is going on with her. You know, she's never been like, I want explosions and this and this. Like,
Yeah, let's hit another, save another planet. Go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
exactly. Well, and it all kind of, you know, they kind of brought it to the forefront in the scene in the TARDIS with Capaldi, and he's like, look, I have a duty of care, and you're being very reckless, and
Yeah.
you know, pull it back a little bit. So
Yeah, and there was another moment in the beginning scene when they land and see the two ghosts, and she says run and grabs his hand.
And the other thing I really liked about this episode, you were talking about the chase scene, which I thought was very well directed, very suspenseful, well done. And what helped it a lot, I thought, was Murray Gold's music. I always love Murray Gold's music. Sometimes his tunes get a little repetitive.
Sure.
But with this one, the thing I noticed and the thing I liked is he's bringing a lot more electronics into his score.
Yeah.
Whereas in the first bunch of seasons, it was very orchestral. Whereas now it's got a little bit of a retro vibe to it, which I'm kind of liking, instead of this just grandiose orchestra, 50-person choir singing. Sometimes the music gets a little much. It gets a little too big. So it was nice to see him kind of pull that back and get a little more retro with it.
Yeah,
again, helped
cool.
kind of with the classic Who vibe of this episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, I loved this week's as much as last week's, just for different reasons.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Capaldi's the main part of it because he just he had so many good bits in this, like talking about how the ghosts were real, and that scene where he kind of convinces the crew to stay. He's like, I want you to go,
but
you'll always wonder what happened, and so he lets them make up their own minds.
Yeah.
To stay.
And when he was explaining the coordinates part, the dark, the sword, the forsaken, the temple, when he was explaining all that was kind of fun. It was like, okay, so this is how it works.
It was awesome.
I feel like I'm going to have more to say once I see the conclusion of the episode. So, right now there's just a lot of questions again.
Again, because at the end of last week's cliffhanger going into the second half, I didn't really have a lot of questions. I was just kind of excited to see where it was going to go.
Yeah.
Whereas with this one, I've got a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'm still interested to see where it's going, but it's like, what? Again, like you said, it was a pretty simple episode, but there's a lot that happened, so there's a lot of questions that we need answers to, and we're gonna get them this Saturday.
Yeah, it just sets up a lot, so that's exciting to see. I really hope. Again, I don't know because I haven't read. I know after this one it's a 2-parter, and I know after that it's another 2-parter.
That'll give us 4 left.
Yeah.
And
I'm assuming the finale is going to be a 2-parter.
Well, the finale is a 2-parter, and then the 2 episodes in between there are written by the same guy as well.
So this season could.
So this season probably is going to be all 2-parters,
which I think is awesome. I guess the only other thing people seem to be bitching about are the sonic sunglasses. People seem to be really pissed off that the sonic screwdriver's gone.
See, I don't know. I don't.
You know it's coming back.
It'll come back, yes. It'll come back eventually, but I mean, and to be totally fair, he's used them, what, twice?
Exactly. Other than that, I don't know.
I'm indifferent with the sunglasses, to be totally honest.
Again,
it's
like you said, he's used them like twice, and the screwdriver's coming back, so
just chill. Yeah, exactly.
Give me a...
All right, well, let's look forward to the next episode. It is called Before the Flood, and until next week, catch you later. Enjoy.